Hello, my dear friends. Best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. My name Dr. Viktor Fursov. I'm a research entomologist, beekeeper, and teacher. I'm biologist. Entomologist, it means scientist who is studying insects, and entomology, the science about insects and some other invertebrates sometimes. So my video stream was delayed. Sorry about that. I need to say because the electricity was cut off for 3 hours. And actually, this day and night was pretty difficult in Ukraine because we had about 6 or even maybe 7 air alerts. And also, just telephone was full of messages about attacks from Russian Federation on Ukraine. So it was indicated that approximately maybe 670 missiles have been sent against Ukraine, and about 60 missiles were shut down because of our powerful militaries are powerful enough to shut down these bloody missiles of our not friendly neighbor, which are continuing to fight against independent Ukraine in the southern and southeast areas of Ukraine, by the way, because this is attack against Ukraine, against independence of Ukraine. And Ukrainian military forces are standing against this aggressor. So now electricity is on, and I use this opportunity to continue my stream about science, about insects, about entomology. And actually, don't be crazy about the war because life is going on, and in some places it is fortunately peaceful situation. It's probably you can consider this it's time like a feast in the time of a plague because this huge area front line from the south till the southeast of Ukraine looks like a hot and just boiling area between Ukraine and neighboring Russia, which is attacking Ukraine and already cut some pieces of Ukraine. But we have good enough forces to stay against this aggressor. So what about time of a feast and the plow? Because I said, because in some countries people are very relaxed, living in a very comfortable conditions, just going just to a restaurant, going to a cafe, going for food, enjoying themselves, enjoying lovely sunshine, sunset, sunrise. But somewhere the time is really difficult, even in such peaceful places like Kiev, which is slightly far from the front line, but in the present time of this all technical abilities, these bloody missiles are flying very quickly, unfortunately. But fortunately, they can be shut down. But what about our lovely insects and about entomology? Let's come in back to entomology, to honeybees, to bumblebees, to grasshoppers, crickets, and so on and so forth. Do you like wasps, hornets, bumblebees, honeybees? If you are look like beekeeper, so this channel is for you. If you are just bumblebee keeper, yeah, that channel is for you because I have a lot of different interesting stories which I'm taking under the microscope, which I'm taking in the field about insects, about some different invertebrates, and I show them just for education. So, educated person, educated adult, or just kid, not smashing any just small creature like bug, beetle, wasp, bee. No, 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 just taking care about them, just watching their behavior and enjoying it, and maybe just have opportunity, what, to use smartphone, to use a telephone with a video camera and record some pieces of behavior. Now it's so easy. So let's start from the video and we will continue about questions of collecting insects. Today we will show you some insects which I recorded in a field, in living, in life. So living insects, and we just talk a bit about them. First insect, this bumblebee. The second one is a praying mantis, green one, which is feeding the body of poor super mealworm Zophobos atratus, or darkling beetle. The name is Zophobos atratus, which is used like food and a meal for some pets. So some people, some entomologists and amateurs, keeping mantis also like a pet at home because they're so beautiful, especially tropical species. They're just orchid mantises, flower mantises, pink, yellow, just gray colors. And this is a tiniest bee. This is not a honeybee. This bee is named sweet bee, because sometimes they collect sweet from just evaporation on the skin of humans and animals. And this sweet bee just making mandible, opening mandibles and showing just the tongue, just in probably piece of honey, because liquid, this is liquid from drop of honey. I fed this tiny bee with honey. After that, she relaxed and showed me this very interesting process. And this is not a grasshopper. This is called bush cricket. Phaneroptera falcata in Latin name. Very common cricket, which I collected near my house, near my apartment building, just somewhere just on a tree, because he is green, because this is a male without ovipositor, just short body, even without stick on the top of body, which is named ovipositor. And this is again small worker of sweet bee, and family of this sweet bees is named Halictidae. Probably this is another genus or Lazio, but I'm not quite sure. So we can say this bee belonging to a family Halictidae. They're semi-colony. They're making semi-colonies. They're living in small colonies, but underground. They're not making huge colonies like in tropical areas. These are quite common in near deciduous forests. And this is a small aphid with wings, female of aphid, which just gave birth to a small larva of aphid. This tiny creature of the brown color is named, how it's named? It's named a larva of this aphid. This is a sucking insect, which is pretty common in spring, summer, autumn time on trees. They're sitting in a huge colony somewhere on branches of trees and shrubs and just sucking the juice from trees and from shrubs and making sometimes dangerous wounds on plants. And this is also a sucking insect. These are soldier bugs, or gendarme bugs of a genus Pyrochoris apterus in Latin name. Pyrochoris apterus, and family is named Pyrochoridae. It's named a soldier bug because it looks like a red color of a soldier of ancient time, definitely. In the present time, soldiers are just all green color clothes. But they're sucking insects by feeding on seeds of plants. It's again a small larva of aphid just after the birth. And it was interesting notice that this tiny aphid, just a female, gave a birth just not to the egg of aphid, but immediately to larva. Egg just opened, and just this is like she gave just a birth directly to the larva, not to the egg. And this is just quite a big, about 3 centimeters caterpillar of night moth of a family Noctuidae. And quite interesting because I collected it on the flower of asteroids. I gave just some pieces of asteroids, flowers, and just leaves. And this very cunning caterpillar just prefer to eat only flowers as the most sweet part of a plant, sweet and most nutritious. And you see here again, okay, here I gave flowers for sweet bees, for Hymenoptera bees. And of course, they just ate not only honey from the small drop of my artificial feeding, but also immediately came to the flower to search for small nectar, for liquid inside the flower, and just sucking little bit nectar, just sweet liquid inside flowers, and of course to search for pollen. So yellow colors, all this lovely pollen, because they can collect pollen and bring it to the nest. And this is very interesting, so colorful leaf beetle of a family, leaf beetles, or a Latin name, Chrysomelidae. So this also was collected in a June time, and they are called Chrysomela, not Chrysomela genus. And here again, this caterpillar, Phaneroptera, ate probably the whole flower, and now just started to eat a little bit leaf near the flower. She's just has some protection against enemies with some seta, So, and also her mimicry, so ray coloration, to be invisible in the place on the flower and just on stem of plants, because it's quite important to be invisible, because a lot of predators like birds, they really enjoy caterpillars, especially in the summertime. Insectivorous birds enjoy caterpillars. And here some rice weevils, very small rice weevils, just trying to escape from my bag. I put them into the bag and just try to manipulate of them, showing from different sides light, and they were preferring to escape from the light. They didn't go to the light. They can fly. In some situations, we can fly and escape in the direction of window. But if you put them just near the window, in some situation, they just going inside the room to escape from the light. And here, this is very interesting beetle of a family Trichogramma. The head of a beetle, and beetle was living in a bracket fungi, just on which I collected on the stem of one tree, on the branch of one tree. I brought this fungi in the room to my laboratory and put it in the bag, and I recognized that some beetles were sitting on the fungi and just hatched from some larvae and pupae which were inside the fungi. And here's some small colony of fruit flies, which is named Drosophila sp, unknown species, because Drosophilidae family is quite large. Usually this irritating fruit flies, they are coming just like invisible creatures inside your kitchen and your room, and they're infesting any kind of fruits or even vegetables which can be in your stock outside the refrigerator, somewhere just under the table. So that's why be careful, they can infest your food and your fruits in the kitchen. And today I also would like to show you the story about how to collect insects. Yes, these are small insects. It's much smaller than all shown before, because these insects belonging to the genus Trichogramma egg-parasitods, called seed wasps. And they're very tiny, just half of millimeter size. Very tiny insects. They're egg-parasitoids of butterflies and night moths. But here I want to show you how to store insects. This is only stored normal way on some pins. What means on pins? On pins it means if some entomologists collecting big insects. I forgot to show you. Some entomologists prefer to collect big insects like butterflies and beetles. Of course, they use not only small aquarium net and aspirator, No, for that aspirator is not necessary because only tiny night moths, very tiny night moths. Aspirator or exhauster or putter. Putter is used to collect small moths. But these big papilio caterpillars, right? Parnassius, belonging to family Papilionidae of genus Parnassius. They live in wild areas, somewhere in mountains, and they are collected. They were spread carefully and put in the bag with very special plastic or wooden box for storage in the museum. And of course, it was special entomological pins have been used to put them on pins. All specimens were pinned carefully, and with each individual was added with label, special small piece of paper with indicated date of collecting, place, village, city, locality, and even just the name of how many meters over the level sea, like 1,000 meters over the level of sea, on the slopes of mountains somewhere in Tanshan or somewhere else, or in Carpathian region, for instance. So we collected with sweeping net, not with aquarium net. So most of big insects like butterflies, night moths, and beetles are stored like that in the collection. But what can we do with small insects? Small insects, I mean insects smaller than 1 centimeter, smaller, little bit bigger than 1 millimeter. For that, in special packs. And this is a special pack which is done from the paper. I did it in the Turkish Republic, so I used local paper with some attractive pictures. For here, labeling with indication of locality and place of collecting indicated on the piece of paper collected in Turkish Republic in Alanya in 2016, and also in Adana, which was ruined in many places in this year. So insects need to be stored on these special cotton layers. It's called on cotton layers inside paper packs, and we've covered with separate piece of paper, which is named label paper. And this is how it's done. Yes, it can be opened like envelope and closed as an envelope with indication of place of collecting, collected like in a Bursa. Bursa is just closer to Istanbul on the north of Turkish Republic, and Alanya is somewhere on the western part of Turkey. So now I will open it and show you how to store it on this special tiny thin cotton layers. You need to prepare a special one with one white, with small white, about 5-6 millimeters white cotton layer, spread it over this envelope, and insects needed to be put on this layer carefully and dried. So when they are dried, they just protected from being broken because they're stored on this cotton. Cotton is soft, and cotton is preventing insects from being damaged and demolished during the transferation from one box to another box. It's better to keep all these tiny small envelopes, both sides of 10 centimeters, 10 or 15 centimeters, not bigger, to be careful about insects inside. All this white subject, this is very soft cotton like from pharmacy. From pharmacy, you need to open the box with cotton and spread it on the paper very carefully. So here are some insects we can recognize easily. Here some palm wheels from Alanya, yeah, southern places of Turkish Republic, whereas this is a place of these pests, palm beetles. They were collected on palms near the beach, near the sea, and so there is a special measures to prevent infestation. So they are collected in special tunnels on the branches of these palms. So left side, these are palm weevils. Here I have only 2 individuals, but I collected maybe 20 of them. I remained the rest of all these palm trees in the museum in Ankara. I just gave it as a, and this brought with me with special permission for sure, for very careful investigation and identification. On the right side here, there are some individuals collected probably by sweeping, I guess some individuals of parasitoids and some Hymenoptera insects. And so for protection of these very, very fragile insects, I use also a small piece of this paper, filter paper, and put again on top the piece of paper with label. So I have several of them, so probably I show you next box as well, with colorful picture for sure. So this is envelope. So envelope must be open very carefully. And here I have some with small indication on the envelope, some beetles. Some beetles collected in the field. Collected where? Here was in the city Aya, in the village Ayash, near Ankara, and others near Ankara. Again, all insects I covered carefully with small pieces of paper, just to prevent them from being broken. So carefully I open it. Filter paper or toilet paper, which is soft, easy to put some small pieces of paper on insects to prevent their movements, because I put insects, just beetles, flies, some Hymenoptera insects on cotton layer, and it needs to be very careful so we can jump sometimes if you put just the paper of label on them. And during just transferation, during just travels, put the box from one place to another box, some insects can be a little bit broken. To prevent it, I put small pieces of this white paper. And of course, on the top, another piece of paper, labeled data. Labeled data, as I said, country, city, village, date of has collected it, and where collected, just with indication of small environmental data. And so the name of plant or plant association. If it was collected on, was reared from some seeds, so it needs to indicate which kind of seeds, what species of plant these seeds belong. So here, small samples. Sometimes insects can be from different places, so they are separated, even just on one cotton layer. So small pieces were separated. You see small points in the middle. This is just separation of one locality from another locality. And also here on the down, these insects were collected by rearing. So I did some samples of seeds and seed pods of Fabaceae family. So insects were reared in small samples in some jars, and they were separated on this cotton law one with indication of the biology and plant identification, and of course with indication of place of collecting. And then just put it again, some pieces of white paper and just big paper with plates. Yash, Ankara, Denizli, again Ankara, Steppe Hills in Yenimahale region. In Yenimahale, in the center of Ankara. So interesting place for collecting insects, even in the center of big city, capital of Turkish Republic. So this is a cotton lawyer. And finally, I show you just another cotton lawyer, which I was made from calendar. Well, this paper was used from calendar because it needs to use the paper not very thin, not very fragile, to make a flexibility and make some protection. So here on the top I put already just label and printed labels on laser printer with size about 8 millimeters to 15 millimeters. And again, big label sweeping on steppe region in Yenimahare again. In Yenimahare I collected by sweeping net, not aquarium net, but with sweeping, or butterfly net sometimes can be called. Collected on the steppe plants like stipa and other steppe plants. So here, this huge number of insects belonging to different orders and families and different groups of insects. So I collected small insects. So in field conditions and even in laboratories, to preserve all of these insects immediately in good conditions, especially in dry conditions. It's possible to put them all in alcohol, but then it needs to separate them very carefully, because in alcohol insects acid very well. Sometimes they can change their color, but when you put them on cotton lawyer, this white field across the screen, this is a pharmacy cotton, very soft, very good protection material. So on the right side you see some small beetles, Bruchide beetles, Curculionidae beetles, so some weevils, some beetles of the family Mordelidae on the right side. On the upper side, here some, again, Mordelidae, black color, this small Mordelidae and big insects. This is a fly, probably wheat flies. Again, in the center here, black colored like a seed, also Mordelidae. There are some flies, tiny flies, like Drosophilidae flies, and here a lot of small parasitoids belonging to different families of the order Hymenoptera. So some Braconidae on the right side in the middle, bigger size, some Chalcid wasps in the center, especially now, just family Pteromalidae, or maybe Eulophidae. On the right side also some Pteromalidae. Some flies in the center now here some sweet bee, maybe Halictidae. So a mixture of insects. There are some small ants of the family Formicidae of a small size. Some of these big insects also. This is a sawfly, black one, Mordelidae beetles. So here a little bit bigger magnification. I just repeating, and I am watching it under the microscope. You need to put this cotton lawyer under the microscope for certain appropriate magnification. Just looking through the field of under the microscope, it's quite easy to look all insects under the microscope on this cotton lawyer, like this, because they are laying on the cotton carefully, very soft cotton, which preventing them from being broken. Here, these ants, 2 ants, some flies, Diptera, this Braconidae family, parasitoids, again, some Braconidae in the bottom, and some sweet bees or Halictidae family. So under microscope, quite easy to move this cotton lawyer and make preliminary identification, and then using 2 small entomological pins or very tiny forceps, you take them off from the cotton lawyer, taking on the wing for wings, or just using 2 small pins to put on pins and transfer them from cotton lawyer to separate glass box or plastic box for gluing them on small pieces of a paper. So again, here in the center, this is a sweet bee Halictidae, and the bigger one, thin one, this is a sawfly. Again, on the right side and the left side, some beetles, weevils of a family Curculionidae. Again, Braconidae family. Some seeds are coming all together because they have a small size, about 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, 5 millimeters size seeds. They can be spread because some insects can be attached even to small seeds. Some insects very small, 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, quite small. So with small, this tiny dust looks like a dust, but in reality, these are small seeds or maybe some small remnants of plants, small branches, small pieces of leaves of some plants, which were just destroyed during sweeping, can be put also together with insects and spread carefully to prevent insects from being damaged, and so for drying, because they can dry easily in a special drying box for 2 days, and then kept in a plastic bag for security, for following identification, for correct identification, for sorting. Here some Tephritida, this big fly, and then Tephritida fly, Diptera with colorated wings. Again, some 2 individuals of ants, Drosophilida fly. Again, bee, some cicadas, small leafhopper on the right side, some leafhoppers, some bugs, some Hemiptera order, some tiny bugs with different families, also quite commonly being collected and sweeping on. So this is a sample. This is a sample of very common cotton lore, which is used for storage of tiny insects in laboratory, because insects can be spread and be saved carefully and stored carefully before identification. And for precise identification, they must be sorted, separated from each other, and stored in plastic capsules. And here are some insects of the family Megastigmidae. Megastigms, these are phytophagous insects which are developing inside seeds of roses or roses. So here they just hatched from fruits of wild roses, dog rose, feeding on drops of honey. Somewhere in April, May time, they are emerged after overwintering. So thank you for your interest. I hope you got some knowledge about insects, about collecting methods, how to keep insects in the collection. So if you have questions, you need to receive some advices. Ask your questions in the comments under this video. So I have 2 videos, one video with pictures, and one video is just without pictures on telephone. I cannot show immediately on 2 different screens. So thank you for your attention, especially I hope for people who are streaming together with me and just followed my pictures under the microscope. But also I hope some comments during this presentation on telephone can be useful for people who is interested in insects, who is interested in collecting methods, who is interested in the study of insects by all means, for morphology, for physiology, for studying behavior and different aspects of life of insects, because entomology is a very wide area with different aspects about insects and some other invertebrates as well. Thank you for coming. Looking forward to see you as subscriber and also as a sponsor. You have seen but I am indicating the list of sponsors at the end of my videos. So their names of sponsors who just come into my Patreon page, or who you can join membership of a YouTube channel, and press not only the like, but also press on the bottom with name, with title join before subscribe. Next bottom subscribe. So two very important bottoms. One bottom is join the sponsorship, the team of sponsors, join the team of sponsors, or subscribe, join the team of subscribers, followers who is interested in the nature, in education, in the science, in entomology, professionally, or just as a matter, or just like for curiosity, for educational purposes. So welcome for watching other insects and other stories about Ukraine and about insects and about another invertebrates which you can find on my channel. Thank you for coming. Press like, write your comments, ask your questions. Welcome to be sponsor and subscriber. And don't forget, Ukraine forever. Good luck and see you soon on my channel. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.